Masvidal. Welcome to another episode of MMA Vision Analysis. This one, I'm here to talk about Jorge Masvidal and his recent comments in a recent interview in regards to one of the potential fights that he could come back to, the potential of facing Leon Edwards. There is a bit of history between the two a few years back. There was a run-in between the two to where there was a physical altercation, or what seemed to be a physical altercation at the time, between Leon and Jorge Masvidal. We're going to get into that in this video and so much more. What I think about Jorge, Leon, but Jorge specifically, especially when we're talking about the potential of him facing Leon Edwards. Let's dive into this video. Jorge Masvidal recently has been on many platforms talking about his potential comeback to the octagon. Obviously, he's building up steam to his potential comeback. It seems like that it's a for sure thing, or at least it seems like it seems to be that it's a for sure thing that Jorge is coming back, unless certain things arise, like the likes of an injury or what have you. Jorge Masvidal is someone that was in the UFC for a very long time. He has a fan base. We spoke about this in previous videos. So every time Jorge steps a foot in the octagon, you're promised to have a certain minority of MMA fans tuned in because they are solely fans of Jorge Masvidal, whether it be the Florida natives or just lovers of the style and the charisma, or perhaps people tune in to watch Jorge lose because he do provoke responses. Some of those responses are positive responses, welcoming responses, and some of those responses are not so welcoming. I believe either way, whether you hate him or love him, the guy does provoke response, and he has the ability to sell a fight. Now, recently, Jorge Masvidal was talking about his potential of returning to the octagon, and he talked about fights, specifically the Leon Edwards fight. There is a bit of history between the two a few years back. At this point, it's a handful of years, more than just a couple. There was an altercation between Jorge Masvidal and Leon Edwards. In all honesty, personally, I thought that would have led to a fight much earlier than now. But now we have Jorge Masvidal calling for a Leon Edwards fight in his comeback fight. I guess because it makes sense, the fact that these two have a bit of history together. Now, for Jorge Masvidal, absolutely, this is pretty much the biggest fight that you can get. You can't get your hands on the champion because you don't deserve it. But if you come in there and you beat Leon Edwards, then you're promised a title shot. That's just how it's going to work. I'm pretty certain of that. I think Jorge Masvidal realizes that, and that's why he's attempting to provoke a response from Leon Edwards. For Leon, this does not make much sense. I don't think that Leon has anything to prove to Jorge Masvidal. If he gives Jorge Masvidal the opportunity, if the UFC and Leon Edwards agree to make the Jorge Masvidal fight, then that would be the biggest shocker of the year for me. Honestly, if Leon Edwards agrees to fight Jorge Masvidal, unless the numbers are outrageous and there's something that you cannot turn down, I don't see Leon accepting this fight. I don't see why this would make sense for, first of all, Leon Edwards, right? Because I thought he was promised a direct title shot or rematch against the current champion Bilal Muhammad after he lost his title to the night of UFC 304. We all thought that was the most obvious fight up next for Leon. Apparently, Jorge Masvidal doesn't seem to think so. Instead, he's suggesting that he should be the one to face off against Leon Edwards. It's a win-win situation if this was to happen for a Jorge Masvidal, but for Leon Edwards, this would be, it's almost laughable, the idea of Jorge Masvidal proposing a fight against the former welterweight champion Leon Edwards. At this point, the gap between the two is, the gap between, former champion who just lost his title and an active fighter, a retired fighter. That is the difference. So how or why would Leon accept this fight? Blow my mind personally, but could this happen? Possibly. Maybe if the finance, monetary, if there's enough monetary gains for Leon Edwards, then maybe we can see this fight unfold. But I highly doubt it. And I think that Jorge Masvidal trying to get a fight is more difficult than what he's envisioning it to be. I mean, he's probably going to have to fight one of these new upcoming guys just to see where he's at. I don't think he's going to go in there against the Leon Edwards. I really don't think that is something close to reality. Not at this point. He has to get through a couple names at least to get to the former champion now, Leon Edwards. And I think Leon's plans is to go back in there, challenge for his title that he just lost. That's what Leon got in his mind. At least that's what I think. If you made it this far, I appreciate you for sticking around. Please let me know what you think. Comment, like, subscribe for more.